guys, just want to introduce ourselves. My name's Keith Green. We're going to be doing a podcast here called Keep Arkansas Fishing, and this here is
James Arnold, and we're also going to talk about where we came from.
You bet. I'm just going to kind of start into why we are where we are today. We have ran Arkansas Bass Team Trail. We started in 2014 running that tournament organization, and prior to that, James and I both ran Fishers of Men back
in the early 2000s.
Yeah, I think I quit in 99 or 2000. You had it after that. So been doing tournaments a long time here in Arkansas, and just have seen a lot of things change throughout the years, and looking for more change and hopefully better fishing in the future for our kids and grandkids as they come along. But just that's one of our goals here. But we'll talk a little bit about Arkansas Bass Team Trail. The reason it started was kind of the same reason that we're starting Keep Arkansas Fishing, was to try to give the Arkansas anglers a tournament platform, a tournament trail that we felt put a lot of time, effort into it.
One of the big things that we have pushed over the time of Arkansas Bass Team Trail has actually been our conservation efforts. You don't see many amateur tournaments, local, regional, that takes care of fish any better than what we tried to do with aerated bump tanks. We've ended up the last few years with our own live release trailer, and we're just trying to keep moving forward all the time on what we can do to keep things the same, if not better, all along.
Yeah, that's the number one reason that we kind of put it together, is that we'd fished multiple circuits throughout the years in Arkansas, and a lot of team trail tournaments that we had fished, and just were aggravated and just kind of got fed up with the fish care situation. I mean, that's what's going to allow us to enjoy our resource for a long time. And if you're not taking care of them as a fisherman is one thing, but as a tournament organization, I think it's even more important, because you're talking about not 5 fish that you're keeping alive, but 400 fish, 600
Yes.
fish, 800 fish. And if you're not taking care of those fish, that's why we started Team Trails, because we want to put something on that, show people how to take care of those fish and what to do. Not that we're perfect, not that we haven't learned a lot every single year, but putting forth the effort, having aerated bump tubs, number one. We went to the mesh bag when we started ours, and that means, you're going to bring the fish up in a bag, and then we're going to transfer them into a mesh bag, go through our line in a mesh bag, straight to our release tank, and so they're out of the water just a little bit of time. But that's just one conservation effort that we can do that's always going to guarantee that we do have a better fishery, is getting them back in the water healthy. And that's one of our main concerns, always has been. And as we move forward in this next step of Keep Arkansas Fishing, that's still going to be at the forefront of what we're pushing for, is just taking care of the resource.
We have a lot of plans for Keep Arkansas Fishing that even at this point we're not going to dive into, simply because we've got some things we want to get under our belt before we even tell you about it. But we've got lots of good things coming, and be good for the fish, good for the fishermen, good for the communities, and just our whole state as a whole.
Yeah, and that's when we started the trail back in 14. That was one of the issues, is just try to enlighten the people and help people learn about taking care of the resource, and just putting on a tournament that everybody could enjoy. And we've done that for a good time now, and enjoyed ourselves. And gosh, we've made a lot of friends along the way, a lot of guys out there that I never would have known and got to know through the years, and just had a lot of friendships made, and we appreciate each and every one of them. We've had a lot of partnerships that have helped us through the years. There's no doubt. When you do something, even as simple as a podcast, sponsors help you put those on. But, through the years, we've made a lot of friends through that, and just a lot of communities. Like we're doing this out here in Caddo Valley. They've been a great sponsor, a great help to us throughout the years, just being involved. The Diamond Lakes area, the last few years, is really helpful to us.
Yes, and just kind of for this podcast and YouTube videos and whatnot, City of Arkadelphia has been gracious enough to let us have this space to use to do our filming and everything. Just a nice place with plenty of room, and So far, it's been real quiet, and that's a big bit of it, is finding a place that's quiet and you can do things.
Yeah. But I think, what the scenario's been with the team trail and what we're trying to do now. We'll talk a little bit about Keep Arkansas Fishing and just in general what we're planning on doing and trying to look into the future. And, as we said before, we started the tournament 7-8 years ago, and it was the most lucrative tournament that's been around or had been around at that point, guaranteeing $10,000. Just having a $250 entry fee. So things have changed throughout the years, and now we've kind of looking in different directions. But we definitely want to give back to what's got us here, and that's our lakes, our rivers, our people that are around us. And we're getting a little older now, no doubt about that. And we want to see the future of what could happen out there. And that comes. Me and James have talked about a lot of things, but we look at projects we're wanting to do is build some dock structures at some of the boat ramps that we have, and hopefully partner with the Game and Fish, the Corps of Engineers, just different people that are already working in the community, and just give a helping hand to them, not try to go in and take over anything.
Yeah, we've the whole Diamond Lakes area, DeGray, which is naturally is home to Keith and I, has been. We're born and raised here, and we've never left. And Lake DeGray is home. All the Diamond Lakes, we've spent pretty much our entire lives on them, throughout the year. So that's what we want to push, is a complete community trust and get everybody involved.
Yeah. And not just the bass fishing world. That's the great thing about the Keep Arkansas Fishing. We're looking to help the crappie fishermen with planting brush piles. We're the catfishing, putting out brush as well, trying to get people involved, even if it's such as, which we've done with Team Trail through the years, is put on kids events that are catfishing, just introducing people into fishing and helping them care about the resource. And that's, everybody says that and wants to do that, but unless you put an effort out to get it done, it's not going to happen. So that's kind of what we want to be, is the boots on the ground to help some of these new projects come forth. And hopefully, people out there or listen to the podcast we're doing here and hopefully get involved with us and help us. It's not going to just be me and James that are going to be able to do this. It's going to take an army of people to help us. I mean, they do shore cleanups. I know we've been involved in those before. Any kind of project that's going to help our resources out there, that's what we're going to be going for. And just with ideas, I mean, we're going to have so many projects that we're going to tackle each year, and that's our goal. And hopefully at some point we'll start building a base that we can, have a group of people that help us. That's our goal in the end.
Yeah, and that's part of the Keep Arkansas Fishing idea, is we're going to use our tournaments as a platform to keep people informed of what's going on and fundraisers and everything else. And it's going to allow grandparents, parents, kids, grandkids, everything, to have chances to fish in different tournaments. We'll plan events that's just for that, instead of, the lack of a better term and a gung-ho tournament and go out and let's see how much money we can win. We want to make it fun and interesting for everybody.
Yeah, just having different categories, different tournaments that we're doing. I know we're doing a big bass this year, and it's going to be something that's going to highlight different people that can win something. Like we're going to do a veterans category, we're going to do a kids category, we're going to do just the regular category, of course, and possibly one more. But just different types of ways that you can win, and not just the biggest, the tournament. We want to have everybody involved and just get everybody that has an opportunity to come out and do that. And like I was talking about earlier, maybe the kids will be more involved, and we can get the veterans out there and the firefighters, and just a lot of different people we're trying to reach out to that normally might not compete in. Arkansas Bass Team Trails through the years has been $250 entry fee. This last year we kind of backed it off a little bit, and it was $150 entry fee. But some people just not gonna want to come out and try to compete against those guys that we know. We've fished against them here, and we of course had the tournament for years. I mean, the guys that fish our tournaments are
competitive,
very serious about it. If you come in and accidentally do good, that's one thing, but these guys really are or sticks.
Yeah.
The best in Arkansas. I mean, we can say that. There's no doubt about that. There's only a few trails that we have in Arkansas, but the guys that fish them are good. So, I mean, we know that, and hopefully that's kind of where we're going. I know that the high school fishing's become big, and that's a great thing that we want to tap into a little bit too. And the college has become big, so it's kind of along the same lines, but maybe just tackling it a different way with different, like we're doing a crappie tournament like we did last year. So we're just kind of branching out a little bit, and like I say, we don't want to just affect the bass fishing community. That's who we are and have been, but we're fishermen too. I mean, I like to crappie fish. How about you?
Yeah, I like to catch anything that will bite my hook.
Right.
That's kind of where I'm at,
Yeah.
especially when you don't get to fish no more than I do. And so that's kind of a deal. And this also is going to give us a chance to, you're going to be able to see some people we'll have here as guests that can tell you some big stories on how to, when to, how to, all of that. So you're going to see a lot of different things here. Some, some sponsors, some products. We can tell you what's going on when it's going on. So it's going to be a lot to see here.
Yeah. I think some of the guys that we talk to, of course, on a basis, just being in the fishing world, of course, the game and fish guys that we deal with, they're picking their brain, the core guy. I mean, there's a lot of people that make the world go round out here in the fishing world. So those are just a few, but also James mentioned the sponsors. They all have their place and things that they do and things that they try to do to make things better too. So we're looking forward to having a variety of people instead of, like I said, we don't want to just be tied into a bass world. We love bass fishing. I mean, that's what we love the most and probably have always done. But again, James, like you said, I go out here to the Gray and catch hybrids and walleye and crappie. So I mean, I'm into catching anything too. Like if we can get a bite, we'll go fishing for it. So
that's right.
That's what I want to push. And we're going to have guides on here sometime that come in and talk to them. I mean, I know we got guides that we know on each and every lake. So.
Yep. And if y'all would, just stick with us, and we're going to take a break, and we'll be right back with you.
If you are interested in sponsoring the Keep Arkansas Fishing podcast, please send an email to info@arkansasbassteamtrail.net. Again, that is info@arkansasbassteamtrail.net. Please enjoy the rest of the podcast.
Well, we're back, and thought we'd tell y'all just a little bit about what we're going to do in 2022.
You want me to go?
Yeah, you can start.
All right. Well, we got several things planned. We're going to do a bass tournament, I know, in January. Then we're going to flip over into April, I guess, and do a big bass. Also, I think at the end of April, 1st of May, somewhere around that neighborhood, we're going to do a crappie tournament.
Yep.
And then, of course, we'll do the Rumble on the River over in Camden in August, which has been a successful venture that we've done the last several years. And, that's one of our favorites probably to do the last several years, because it's kind of what we're wanting to move towards and go to places maybe that we haven't been before. I mean, the Washita River at Camden, before we put a tournament on down there, I mean, I've been here my whole life. Have you ever heard of much more?
I've never been down there in my life until we started.
Me and James went down there. We fished a couple of days on the river down there just to check it out and see how it was. And, it's a place that I'd never been. And Camden had reached out to us. And lo and behold, here we are in will this be the 5th year?
Fourth or fifth, yeah.
The 5th year this coming year. So, we started that tournament with 20 boats, I believe, and last year I believe we were at 85 or 86, something like that. So just it's just grown, and that's kind of what we're looking to do. We got people in that tournament that had never fished. Many of them had never fished a very big tournament, and I'm not saying it was a big tournament, but it ended up being because guaranteeing $5,000 down there. Each year that we've been down there.
You win $5,000 and you spend $125. That's pretty good money there. So, that's kind of our goal and everything, is getting this stuff back to being fun. Also, like down there is a great place to bring your wife and kids, family, because they have what they call the First Friday Festival. And that's when we have the tournament there, and the family can spend the day at the festival and all that. So that's what we're looking for, is to getting more into the communities and just everybody having fun, mom, dad, and all the kids and everybody. So.
Yeah. And I think that's one of our goals here when our big bass comes out a little bit later this year on the Gray in Catawba Valley area is that, hopefully we'll be able to turn it into more of an event than just a tournament where the guys show up, we fish, and we leave, because we've known throughout the years, that's how it goes, and throughout our career in the Arkansas Bass Team Trail, we would feed the guys the first few years there after the tournament, and that would keep everybody around, have a little more camaraderie. And as COVID hit and things that we couldn't feed, we kind of saw that go away, and I think I miss that. Getting to talk to the guys and be with the guys. Now it's coming back now, but not seemingly like it was. So hopefully we can put on events that can do more of that kind of draw.
Yeah, when the COVID hit, we started, in order to keep going, doing the drive-through weigh-ins, and that was, in a way, the most spectacular deal in the world. You drive through, weigh your fish, get in the truck and leave, and we'd mail you your check on Monday, and, a lot of people were almost home by the time we would finish up the day. Well, that was great, but there was no communication, camaraderie, or anything with anybody. So that's kind of lack of a better term, it's boring, and I think most everybody feels this way. There's nothing like standing out in the crowd and lying about the one that got away and all that stuff. So I think we all miss that, but
we definitely have a lot of that goes on out there.
But
yeah, that's the thing that I miss probably the most, from just having those. The drive-throughs were easier for us, and it worked good. We perfected it. It did good, but again, we just didn't have the camaraderie of everybody getting to sit around and talk. The families weren't there like they had been in the past. So that's our goal, is just kind of get, that's what we want. We want people to enjoy the outdoors like we do, and hopefully we're going to give it a platform to do it, and hopefully give it places to do it. We're talking about, we've got plans throughout the years to do a lot of different things, but building some types of pavilions at the lake, putting docks on
courtesy
docks, just doing a lot of things that might tie in more things for not just a tournament, but just the all in all in fishing.
And I'm gonna go someplace else that we've just touched on a little bit, but we done the 2 crappie tournaments this year. And they were kind of small for all sakes of a tournament, but it was a learning experience for us. We didn't know where to get the word out, because we crappie fish, we eat crappie, but everybody loved our crappie tournaments that fished them. We're going to put a little more emphasis on that this coming year. And the other thing, this big bass tournament, some of you haven't fished big bass tournaments, but we used to have a lot of them, and they were a big deal. And if you haven't fished a big bass tournament, and the strategy in it, trying to get you some money over some other guy that's standing there in line and try to fake him out and get him to leave, there's lots goes on, and a big bass tournament can be a lot of fun. So we're going to try our best to put on a great event for you.
And like that, in a big bass, we hate to say it's luck, but a lot of times it is in a big bass. One cast is all it takes in a big bass, and I think that's another thing that we like, that anybody can win it. We go to different places, and just comes to my mind is we go to the river to do the rumble on the river, but there's 15-foot boats down there with 25-horse motors on it, and they have just as good a shot of winning that tournament as the guy with the 250 running down the lake. It's the same thing in big bass. I think that a lot of people out there that haven't fished with us in our team trail, just because maybe they think, my boat's not good enough or whatever. A big bass, hey, one cast, you can win the whole thing. So I like a big bass for that aspect of it, for sure.
And another thing on the big bass, since we're doing it on Lake DeGray, and there is a trying load of you out there that don't know this. DeGray has been kind of on the poor side for a few years after we lost our grass. But what a lot of you don't know is, in the year 2021, me personally, I know of 13 bass weighed in here over 8 pounds, and 8 of those fish were over 10 pounds. So there is still big ones swimming out here if you can get in front of one. So, and that could be very valuable at the end of this tournament.
Oh yeah, no doubt. There's, I don't know what's happened the last several years, but we've had more. I've seen more 10-pound fish in the gray in the last 3 to 5 years than I've ever seen, and it just continues every year. So
Yeah.
I mean, we don't know what's going on, but we like it. So whatever it is.
And the start of it, we actually got to weigh a fish during one day that it didn't matter. Brian Bain was out on the gray practicing for a tournament and caught a 12.59 or 69, something like that. And that started the big fish roll. They've been catching those 10s ever since then. So
it's been 3 or 4 years ago. We were doing a high school event out there, and he brought that in during the weigh-in. That was impressive to see a 1 over 12 come out of the gray. But like I say, we've seen lots of 10s the last several years.
One particular guy caught 2 11s this year on the gray. So
things are changing out there. That's hopefully somebody can snag one of those big ones during the big bass and really bring it to the forefront. I know we actually did a big bass last year on the trout on the Diamond Lakes. We did it at
on 3 lakes.
3 lakes. We did the gray, Hamilton, and Greason. And up until the last few minutes, I believe Greason was leading it.
Yep.
Had a 6 something was leading.
686.
And pretty much he was counting his money. And then what happened?
The last 5 or 10 minutes, a gentleman caught wasn't it a 10
Over
even
10,
maybe?
yeah,
10 something on Hamilton and won the deal.
Yeah.
So you never know who, when, or where you're going to catch a big one.
And we always thought, the gray is pumping out those big ones, that it would have been the place that won, and I believe it was the last place.
Yeah, it was.
Pumping out the big fish. But so you never know. But that was kind of interesting to see. This year it'll just be on one lake at this time, but I think we'll see. I think we'll see one of those big ones. We'll see.
Oh, I do too. I do too.
But we're going to kind of sign off for this first one. Kind of like you say, we introduced ourselves, kind of telling you what we're looking to do and hoping to do, and hopefully you guys tune back in with us. Check us out when we're available on the podcast, and
watch and listen for our podcast. And please, if you go to YouTube, hit the subscribe button on Arkansas Bass Team Trail, and we'll try to keep y'all informed of everything that's going on. So we appreciate your time.